What up, no? It is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts and Three Counts, and the boys are back in town. We have survived from Cleveland. We're even going to wear matching hats. Look at that. Ain't that cute? But before we get to that, I got to tell you about the homies at Mitten Muay Thai, because guess what? It's fight week. I'm on the microphone. I don't know why they allowed that to happen, but be prepared to enjoy these fights. So, if you guys are in the Detroit area, check out this video here and check out some knockouts, man. Because as you can see, somebody might be going to sleep this Friday, Masonic Temple. Make sure you check it out. Last week's guest, Brian Glidden, in the main event. Make sure you check it out. Tell them Knockouts and Three Counts sent you, and spend your Friday watching somebody get knocked the fuck out. What's a better way to spend a Friday? In the meantime, and in between time, hit that subscribe button and enjoy the show as we recap SummerSlam 2024.
This is the Ring of Honor, aka Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and Three Counts starts now.
What up, no? We have survived Cleveland. I am back in the Mitten, and this is Knockouts and Three Counts. And man, we had quite a hell of a weekend, and man, it's really rode into this week, and we'll get into what me and J-Bone are going to be doing tomorrow. But before we get there, we got to talk about last weekend. So if we're going to do that, who better to do that with than J-Bone, since he was there, and tonight's guest, the homie Ken Brass, who's making his return to the show, and the debut of the homie and the Potters of Destiny, POD. I see what you did there. How'd y'all enjoy SummerSlam?
Somebody caught on, man. I'm glad to hear that. Yo,
Shout out to the homie Smitty, formerly of Breaking Down the Ring, talking SummerSlam. Smitty, what was your favorite match? How'd y'all feel about SummerSlam, man?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was a very, very solid card. I to be honest with you, I can't even figure out like what's my favorite match so far. So I've been really trying. I'm about to rewatch it later on tonight and try to go through that shit. But you know, it was very solid top to bottom, like solid wrestling all around.
Yeah, like that match. The whole event. It really didn't have a bathroom break. Really, it was like solid from start to finish. Like that was one of the better pay-per-views they did recently, to be honest with you.
I rewatched it on TV, Kyle, on Peacock. Presentation-wise, amazing, dude. I mean, there's just two forms of like art that WWE puts together, and that's a live show versus what they show you on Peacock now of the PLEs, man. But they do such a good job, and it's such a different experience. You know what I mean? Like if you're there, you know, the crowd's wild, the environment's wild, just just everything going around you is an event, a major event at all times, and it was amazing. 7 matches, every match for me, banger. I enjoyed the whole thing, man. Even sitting in the sun, being dehydrated, I was good with it.
Don't blame that on the sun. You don't drink water on the regular.
I drink beer. I'm a guy.
I'm
only a man, bro. What's better than wrestling and beer?
Wrestling and beer. Listen to you. Sound like you're stuck in the fucking Omni.
They didn't have my margaritas there, bro.
Hey, margaritas are where it's at. I like some stuff with some flavor, but we've already also figured out that when we went to Vegas for Double or Nothing, that you've got the grandpa bladder of grandpa bladders, and couldn't even make it down Fremont Street without having to piss after your margarita.
Don't drink the 40-ounce margaritas if you got a pee all the time.
I mean, I could have told you that, but hey,
that had to have been probably every 100, 200 feet. I was like, man, I use the bathroom again.
That's like them big ass jar sticks, man. Drinking those.
Yeah, he didn't make it too well. We tried to watch Spandex Nation, and it didn't work so well for him. But with that being said, we're headed back to Vegas soon, and one of the homies from Vegas is in here for tomorrow, which we'll get to that. But we've talked about what was your guys' overall experience like at Cleveland? Ken, I know you weren't there as long, so J-Bone, you got to take Lily, and you were there with the homie Mike and his kids as well. What was the Cleveland experience like for y'all?
Oh man, it was a big event feel. Like you could tell the city was into it. Downtown Cleveland was just crazy. There was wrestling shows everywhere. There was wrestling themed bars all over the place. Restaurants where all people were dressed up. The whole city, man, was into it. And then the event itself, Brown Stadium. Hey, I'm a Michigan guy, so I don't got a lot of good things to say about Cleveland, Ohio. But I'll tell you what, they dressed the place up real nice for what it was. Honestly, it wasn't that expensive when it came to drinks and food and all that stuff. So that was nice. But just the experience there, like I said, WWE puts together such a pageantry for major shows like that. You felt the big vibe, especially when Triple H came out to start the show. That just tuned it up to high gear. Everybody got into it, man. Overall, 10 out of 10 for me. The experience was great. Good time. Like I said, only thing I didn't like was the sun. I didn't like being in the sun the whole time, but got to take the good with the bad, right? It is what it is. I had a great time.
Hey, it didn't rain and it was a stadium show.
Rain.
So you shut your mouth. All right. I was there at that horrible New York WrestleMania where we all got rained on, and it was the only time I've ever dressed up for the rain.
I may have lost 5 pounds sitting there sweating to death.
See, there you go.
But I can top y'all with rain. I was at WrestleMania in fucking Tampa. Using that bitch with fucking ponchos on.
I don't know if it was worse than New York.
Lightning warnings. We had to stop the show, go on the concourses.
No. Were you at 35?
36. I mean 37.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, were you at 35?
Yeah, I was at 35 too.
Bro, you really think that was worse than 35?
Because 35, the rain happened after the show. I got caught in rain during the show.
Not in the show. I was in a fucking suit and got stoked. It rained during the show. I remember this vividly. And then it rained even worse after the show, and then we had to wait for the fucking bullet train to even hope to get out of there.
Man, getting out of 35 trying to get back into New York was fucking.
I didn't get back to the hotel till like 5 in the morning, dude.
Yeah, I didn't get back till like 4.
I can't even fucking imagine. I can't even imagine that shit. Jesus.
I'll tell you what, that was probably the only downfall of Cleveland was that they had events going on at every single place, the Rocket Mortgage Place, Progressive Field, the Cleveland Brown Stadium, and whatever other little venues, little concerts were going down, man. There was no parking. Like, people were complaining, like, there's nowhere left to park. Not on the streets, not in the parking structures. There's nowhere. Like, people were
I looked
parking
up. I was able to get into the parking structure that was like right by the stadium somehow, but I lucked up. But
we paid a good amount of parking for it. Was still about a 30-minute walk, but it was.
I ain't have
the cool thing was the pathway to, like, there was, like I said, bars, restaurants, everything was themed out. People were walking the streets in Macho Man attire. You know what I'm saying? And Rey Mysterio. So there was a guy we walked the streets with some guy dressed as Gold Dust, which was pretty dope.
Oh, that had to be fucking random. Jeez.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So it was just, like I said, it was an experience. It was a hot experience, but for a wrestling fan, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't beat that, especially when you got kids. Like, my kid, she's 10 years old. That's an experience she's never gonna forget. You know what I mean? So
I know she had a ball. I know she had a ball.
Taking kids to a big show like that is definitely something special.
Oh yeah, it was worth it. 3-hour drive.
That I can attest to.
Yeah, not to mention we got to see AIW on the walk. We were walking, and I can hear guys getting slammed on the mat. You know what I mean? Like, that's as a fan, like, that's a wrestling ring.
Yeah, you know time. You know
wrestling.
Like, oh,
there's loud music.
Like, I know that
microphone, just people cheering. There's somebody's getting slammed around. So we walk around the corner, and I can't think of the name of the bar now, but they had a block party, SummerSlam block party going on, and AIW, their promotion was running. So there was Chris Van Vliet in the ring doing the ring announcer stuff, throwing t-shirts, and hey, we're early for the show. We're gonna hang out and watch some local wrestling too. So
you know what? Now I hear about that. What the fuck happened in Detroit? Why we ain't had no wrestling block party? You know what I'm saying? That would have been fire downtown.
You know what I mean?
You know,
hey,
damn. Come on.
They need to do stuff like that, man. Block off a section, block off a big street, and just theme it out. You know what I mean?
You could have had that bitch in Cactus Marshes. You want to be honest with you?
Yeah, you could have. I don't know who controls that, who runs that, but it is what it is. But from your guys' perspective, man, so SummerSlam overall, you guys got an overall for it. You got a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. I know I've seen many different things on Twitter, and I know people can be nitpicky. You know how the wrestling
world is. I seen
fucking marks.
It's a very toxic environment for wrestling on X.
Man, I seen them stupid ass cage match ratings, man. They can kiss my ass on that.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give it a 9.5, man. We watched it. I had a watch party at the DraftKings Sports and Social in Troy. So we had about 50 people showed up for that, man. Everybody enjoyed themselves, man. It was fun. It was a very, very fun pay-per-view. It was people that was in there that don't watch wrestling that enjoyed themselves watching this shit. Because I know we had Mike O'Hara show up and he was watching the shit. And he was talking about, like, I used to remember Dick the Bruiser back in the day and all that shit. I chopped it up with him for a minute, but no, it was fun. I give it. It was definitely a solid pay-per-view, 9.5 in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm about the same, like 9.5. Like I said, it was every match, like you said, it was a banger. It flowed. It had some of everything. It even got Jelly Roll doing one of the best choke slams I've ever seen anybody fucking pull off. Like,
hey man, look,
we gotta address that.
Yeah,
that
was impressive, dude. That was impressive.
So I was like, wait a minute.
It was clean, but then again, you had Priest coming back on Monday with the clean one too when he did JD. I was like,
I feel like he had to show it up. Like, hold on.
Yeah,
man.
he did.
Right. We've been doing this for years. You got to show him up a little bit. So was that for you guys? What was missing? Was there anything missing at all? There was something missing for me that I was kind of looking forward to, and I'll get to it in a minute. But for you guys, was there anything missing from that show?
This is the only reason why I don't give it a full 10 is because how short the Sami Zayn and Brian Breaker match was. That was the only thing for me. I wish that was a little bit longer, but I see what they had to get that out the way. The big bloodline thing coming up at the end of the night. They needed all the time, so I understood that. But that was the only thing for me.
The only big complaint I got is why the fuck did they change Roman's music? Like, I feel like that fucked with the pop a little bit. Because I was like, because you hear it and you see the trials going off, like, okay, but then you're hearing it, and I'm like, what's really going on? I'm like, and you're like, but then it's Roman, and you get over it. But I'm like, why? And then why is Ron Breaker like on his 10th entrance theme?
Yeah. Right. Who's controlling that? No, yeah, because when Roman's music hit at first, like everybody around me was just like we could see the Tron, and it didn't say much until it's ahead of the table. So like it was the different intro to that theme. But I'm with you. I like the Roman Reigns thing that we already had. Like I don't see why add that. And I don't know if that was just for that night. Or we'll see what happens going forward.
I'll pray they learn their lesson and they go back to the other one because it made no sense.
Here's the thing about that. It is actually the motherfucking theme that he had at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The prolonged long. It's that thing. Yes, it's that same thing.
Okay, maybe I just didn't catch it then. Like maybe it was more clear that I was able to catch it there, but I didn't catch. Maybe because at Mania he had the drums and all of that, maybe. So maybe that's why I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Versus now you're just hearing it like as a theme thing.
So for me, and we'll get to the match later on when Kyle gets back, but for me, I really wanted a show face from Paul Heyman. I really wanted him to pop in somewhere. Like, okay, so if I try to explain it to my kids, it's so hard explaining them like returns and the way things happen like back in the Attitude Era. Yeah. But you guys remember when Kane returned and with Paul Bearer, and he just walked out on the stage. Lights went out. Paul Bearer comes on the stage, and everybody knew what was about to happen because you've seen Paul Bearer, right? Big pop. Kane's music hits, bigger pop. I wanted something similar to that. Maybe not.
I think though it's because we're in this. One thing they're doing in this era that's very intentional is the slow burn of everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be a slow burn. Yeah, we got Roman back. Then eventually Jimmy's got to pop back up.
Yeah.
Eventually, you got to get Jimmy and Jay back together.
Yeah.
Somehow, then that's got to bring Sammy back, and then eventually you get Heyman back. Like it's a slow burn. So I feel like I feel like in this era, they're very intentional about staging it. They're not going to give you all of it at once. They wanted to.
Yeah, it just depends on which order they're going to do it in. But that was another thing we were missing on the whole card and the whole PLE was Jey Uso, main event Jey.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, how do you not have the guy that's selling? Probably got to be a top 2 or 3 guy.
Oh, dude, the whole place was Jey Uso.
You saw Yeet shirts everywhere. Like,
everywhere.
So I got a few points to what y'all have been talking about. Number one,
the store actually sold out of the Jey Uso.
Hey, that white Yeet shirt was dope. The black and blue Yeet shirt was dope. Ask Megaran. I swear I was about to buy it. I ended up with the SummerSlam jersey and the Mitchell and Ness hat. But that's just because I want to show off my tattoos. But that being said, fuck you guys on the theme song, first of all, because if you guys listen to the old Roman Reigns theme song, it gets to a very certain point in the song, and every time you can hear it where it stops and repeats. And they finally fixed that. So, first of all, I'm glad that we finally got a song that can just flow from start to finish. So, first of all, there's that. Second of all, I got to go to SmackDown Friday night as well, and it's funny you bring up Jey Uso because, to be honest with you, my favorite part of SmackDown, to be 100% honest with you, was the dark match after SmackDown because they literally did the Jey Uso, song like literally 7 times.
Yeah.
Miz showed that he's like the whitest person in the world and had no rhythm. And he's like he's trying to do the Jey Uso deal, and he's doing one hand and then the other hand and then one hand. And I'm like, dude, can we not just get it in sync and do it at the same time? Can we do that? Like, hot damn it. And that was the best part of SmackDown. And then it was funny because they were all Raw guys. It was the Judgment Day versus Rey Mysterio. So it was Dom, JD, Priest, and Finn versus Ray, Miz, Truth, and oh fuck, who was the other one? And Jay, what the fuck? What the fuck? We're talking about Jey Uso, and I'm like, damn.
Catch it, man.
All right, man. I've worked 8 hours and almost went postal today. Anybody that's been here knows where I work for a job, and I don't need to explain it. But yeah, dude, it was a great start to the weekend, But since before we get back into SummerSlam and start talking about some of the topics of some of these matches, bro, talk to me a little bit about Potters of Destiny, how that came to be. Are you going to have a Gorillas of Destiny theme song? Tell me where this come from.
All right. So I was, I've been doing like wrestling, like sports podcasts since like 2020 with Corey from M Live. We was working at Woodward Sports. We had a show called Everything Is. Some bullshit happened there. They deleted all our episodes, including our Eric Bischoff interview, both of them. So around that time, once we got rid of that, I ended up starting my own network called the MKU Network, which stands for Most Known Unknown Network. And then one of the first shows we had was called Mid Curtis and Catering. I did it with a guy named AJ. Everything was running smooth. We brought on our homegirl Gabby from Lip Gloss and Ladder. She came on and do the show with us, but some creative differences happened, and I just had to 86 that shit. So I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, I don't know what's next. I don't know if I'm gonna do more wrestling podcasts anymore or anything like that. Shout out to my friend Markel, and also shout out to Jay Mapes, my cousin. They were like, why don't you go holler at Ken Brass? So I inboxed him like, hey, you want to do a podcast? He's like, yeah. So I was just trying to come up with names. I was gonna call it Jobbers of Destiny at first, but I said, fuck that. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's call it Potters of Destiny. Makes more sense. We're doing a podcast. We're a tag team right now. Folks don't like Gorillas of Destiny and all that other shit, play off of theirs. And that's really much how it came about. I told Kento I wanted to add like a hip hop feel to it as well. So just certain things I'm gonna have like different type of content, like just focus on different things. Like one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm going to give them like faction grades. Like I'm gonna grade the factions, grade the members in the faction, and all that other shit. So we're gonna do some things like that. Just bring a different hip hop element to it, So that's pretty much where that came from. And then just talking to Ken and just his experience of going to different shows, his experience of watching everything. And I'm just like, this is the perfect marriage right here. So I had to bring him along.
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, you've been on our podcast a bunch of times, and I know you do Sound of Destiny, Jesus Christ. I wanted to say fucking Sound Off Sundays. Yeah. But with that being said, what made you want to get into the podcast?
Kind of, you said like the recommendations that people recommended me to him or people to me. And it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? It was just, honestly, it was just one of those things. Like when he came to me, like I didn't know Ant before then, but I've heard of him. I knew of him, but I didn't know him. But the people that recommended me to him is people that I word I trust and everything. And his cousin Jay Mapes has been on me like about getting on wrestling content. He's been yelling at me for 2 years for not vlogging when I go to WrestleMania. So and stuff like that. So it was like it just felt like it was right. And when we talked it up, Like our conversation about doing it lasted all of maybe 5 minutes. It felt right. So not to sound like cliche, but literally it felt right. And then he had some great ideas. I got some great ideas. Like I said, we got Corey. That's got a lot of connections in the mainstream media that's helping us out. It's just, it's gonna work, and I'm here for it.
All right, man. You heard the man. It's gonna work. But you know what else worked? SummerSlam worked. We've talked a little bit about the dark match, talked about all that. Let's get into some of the stuff that happened with SummerSlam. And I mean, you got to start with where the show started. Dude, Dom turned on Rhea and Liv won the title. I just want to say that both myself and Rob called that shit. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go back and check it out for yourself. But what were your thoughts on what we saw with Liv versus Rhea and Dom, screwing Rhea over to help Liv win? I mean, I just want to say this here. I mean, we talked about the picks, but man, again, we talked about this before the show. First of all, the match was fire, yes. I thought, and I'm just gonna say I wasn't mad at the three of them, including Samantha Irvin, in the ring before it started. Wasn't mad at it.
Praise God.
Yes, sir. Amen. But with that being said, let's talk about the match, dude. I mean, that match was about as hot as anything else that went down there. And then when Dom finally screwed Rhea over, how is this guy winning at life like this? First of all, he already had Rhea Ripley as mommy, and say what you want, Rhea Ripley, I've gotten to meet her, and she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Plus, again, she'll break your neck, and she's beautiful. But then you add Liv Morgan to the equation, and again, I don't think anything needs to be said other than just look at social media. And then you add to the fact that the man is married. So, I mean, this guy is getting like the best of all three worlds out of this. But J-Bone, what'd you think of Rhea versus Liv?
Well, the guy's doing something right, clearly. I mean, Jesus, dude. He's married and he can do all this stuff without being in trouble. I don't know what he's doing. He found something in the world here. But what a way to start off SummerSlam, man. Red hot. The match, like you said, was great. I thought Rhea came back looking great. She that whole spot where she was getting her shoulder back in, she bounced it off the announce table. Crazy. Fire, dude. Off the turnbuckle, fire. I like the way it ended. Because, I mean, even if you watch it on the broadcast, they were saying on Peacock, like how Michael Cole was saying how the Judgment Day is imploding before our eyes. In actuality, it was just kind of going to the next level. But I think we all seen that coming from Dom, right? Eventually, there's going to be a turn. And this just puts Rhea into the face role, the chase back to the championship. It's going to be great. I already love it. I already love what we've seen on Raw. What are they calling them? The her and Priest, what are they calling them? The
Terror Twins.
The Terror Twins. I love that, dude. So hey, I'm here for it, man. And just another level added to Dom, perhaps the most hated figure in pro wrestling right now.
Dom was a heel that went heel.
Yes. He's just adding more layers and more layers and more layers on a great heel.
That's another crazy part to that whole thing with Dom is the fact that when you think about it, like his dad is like the ultimate baby face.
Yeah.
And he is like become like the most nuclear heel of like at least the last 5 years.
Like there's wrestlers right now that wish they could generate that much heat.
Yeah. Imagine what's gonna happen when he let's fantasy book it and just say he wins like Money in the Bank, and he goes on that run.
God.
He goes on that run of like
briefcase.
Teasing the cash in, like, dude, he can turn out to be the biggest prick on TV. Well, he already is pretty much, but he's gonna be it's just gonna keep going.
Case is Ciampa and Black and Gold NXT level heat.
Yes, yes, man. It's like I said, we're just adding layers on something that's already gold as far as a heel. So keep it going. Hopefully, they can keep that momentum going with him.
He needs a title. He does need a title. I just don't know which title to give him.
I mean, dude, he was doing dope stuff with the North American title when he had it for that little while. And I mean,
right.
I mean, we got to see what happens because now we've got, is it Judgment Day 2.0? Only time is going to tell. But
I mean, you've got, Rhea and Priest are now split, and then you've got that as well. I don't know, man. Like I said, I just love the fact that we're getting stories again. And, even though most of us thought that might happen, bro, when he kissed Liv, that place lost their shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Liv is something, man. She was the first one to put the tongue in the mouth, too. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay.
She knew what she was doing.
And then one thing I got to give him credit for is, the fact it was predictable, but they still nailed it.
They nailed it.
That's what you got to speak to. It was something very predictable because we're all vets and watching this shit. We're all 10, 20 years deep watching this. So we know certain shit, you can see it a mile away. But to see it a mile away, but it doesn't feel like a mile away, that's special.
Well, because I feel like they left enough of the suspension of disbelief. I mean, like I said, again, like we talked about before we went on the air. I mean, at every turn, he's turned Liv down so far, other than the little clues, and you got to pay attention to the Easter eggs. I mean, like I said, he just had Rhea licking his face the other day. So, I
thought the turn was going to be Finn. I thought the whole thing, this is how I thought it was going to unravel.
That's what Rob said. Shout out to Rob and Bob Culture Podcast.
Because, remember back when Finn and Liv were faces, they were beefing with the Judgment Day. They were, trying to do it together back then. So I felt because they've been doing all this long-term storytelling, Finn took the hotel key, all of that. I felt it was going to be a callback to that. And I thought it was going to be somehow Finn got involved. So that's what I thought was going to happen. But the fact for them to take kind of the easy way to do it, and it still was just, they still nailed it. I got to give it up.
Because it's crazy because it seemed like it was an accident. It seemed like it was an accident at first,
Yeah.
But then, when he kissed her, he's like, oh, shit.
But when he helped her, when he picked her up, that's when the crowd started to rumble. You know what I mean? Everybody was
but not even that though. When he threw the chair in the ring, and I looked up at the screen, and they showed Dom make that smirk.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh shit, here we go."
When he took that chair from Rhea, I was like, "Oh shit, this is cold. This is about to be cold blooded. This is about to be cold blooded." And then on top of that, bro, can we just give Rhea credit? I don't know how obviously she was gone for a while with her shoulder, but if she really did redislocate that joint and put it back in the middle of the match and then finish the match,
it did like it was
fucking
like that. It did like it was like that point in her shoulder. It did look like it. So
fucking savage.
What do you guys think of this new Judgment Day with Finn, JD, Carlito of all people? Carlito's sticking around, dude. I'm here for that.
Okay, so here was my thought.
I love Carlito.
I don't know how I feel. I love Carlito, but I don't know about how I feel about Carlito being in the Judgment Day. But the thing
gonna last long, because if you were watching Raw last night, if you haven't, go back and watch it. When Rhea was getting in that ass and Carlito's on the outside, you see him, his face.
And see what we got in the comments. Smitty comment.
If you watch him in the background. When Rhea got a hold to Liv and got a hold to JD and he just walks off.
Kind of throw his hands up a little bit man, I'm good. I got it. He threw his hands up
he's gonna see what Priest and Rhea coming after him. He's like, you know what?
So that was the thing that stuck out to me. I don't know if you guys got to watch the new 24 for Priest yet, but he talked a lot. It's really good. You need to. But they talked a lot about him coming up on the island, and obviously anybody that knows about Puerto Rican wrestling knows they know the colognes, they know the history, they know that his dad basically ran the island and all that stuff. And so Priest talked a lot about watching Carlos Colon and a lot of the guys that you would talk about when you talk about places like Puerto Rico. So to have that happen and then have them turn on him and jump his ass out, I was like, yo, that's cold. That's cold blooded too. It'll be interesting to see who they get to come to their back, because obviously this isn't going to be done with the Judgment Day. But with that being said, dude, here's the other thought to take into account. And, I'd love to hear all of your guys' thoughts on this one, but do you guys realize all of the original members of Judgment Day are now out?
Yeah, I just saw something on Twitter about that earlier, and I was like, damn, you're right. All the OGs is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which makes me feel like they may go through a name change. I don't know. I feel like a name change.
Nah, they ain't gonna change the name.
No, they ain't gonna change the name. I think they're gonna still keep the name. They still keep the bloodline, who it is and shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a whole different thing going on.
I still dig it. I'm still here for it. I like the color schemes. I like the theme of it all. I like the name. I think the new Judgment Day is gonna be dope. We're pretty much just slingshot Rhea and Priest into the next realm of babyface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they did. I think that was a time of probably Damien's 24, which is layering it. There's that further layering into when he got portrayed. Like if you watch, like I said, like I watched it. So you watch, you know his backstory, then he gets portrayed the next day.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to watch it till yesterday, but it was just something that dropped out when I listened to it. Because knowing how it played out, and then to hear him talk about the Colognes and growing up watching wrestling over there in Puerto Rico like that, and watching wrestling on the island, and then to have Carlito, one of the Colognes, jump his ass out, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I just that just was. What can I say other than the irony of the wrestling? With that being said, we already had somebody else bring them up in the comments. Joey said it a little earlier, and I knew that was going to be the match that he said. See, you love his hat. I got the same damn hat on.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm the host and don't even get love on my own shit. You see this? You see this? This is my shit. And they point out
it's fucked up.
That's just covers that chrome dome, motherfucker. But I was trying to find Joey's comment about Braun Breaker because he is definitely one of the leaders of the Braun Breaker fan club. But I'm totally okay with him beating Sammy, even though I'm a big fan of Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker is the truth, and they couldn't have him lose again, or I feel like it would have done real big damage. But man, the speed that guy comes around on that spear, I don't know that I would ever want to line up and take that shit.
That was probably the most predictable match that whole night. Was that outside of the bloodline shit? But
I mean, it wasn't, and here's why: because I thought it was pretty fucking predictable that he was going to lose in Canada, especially with Sammy being from Canada, and then Sammy won. So I'm just saying, I figured he couldn't lose this time for the reasons I've already stated, but I'm just saying.
I felt like it was just perfect to give him that moment, his first real title on one of the big four. His dad and his uncle in the stands. It just felt like it was the perfect setup. You know what I'm saying? Like him losing to Sammy the first time was the layup for this. It was, it was like because they played it up the whole he wasn't focused, he didn't take Sammy serious thing, and it pretty much was damn near a squash. It was damn near a squash match.
Yeah,
that match didn't last long. All of maybe 10 minutes.
Who thought that the ropes would become a signature?
He can go pretty fast, man.
Dude, that guy's got.
What is it? They clocking him 24 miles an hour off the ropes?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's insane, dude.
Even just when the guy,
for a human body to be going that
even
fast.
just the other week on Raw when he like took off from the top of the stage and then ran back around to spear him again. I'm like, dude, when he hits him, he's gonna knock the shit out of this guy. Yeah. Like
his star power though right now, like we're still just building this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think
he's been a star since NXT,
and I think we all know how it goes. They're gonna do everything they can to keep him away from like certain guys, you know what I mean, for a long time. Because when it finally happens, like we always talk about moments, right? Royal Rumble. Let's say Royal Rumble comes down and he's in there at some point. And he comes face to face with another big guy like that, like let's say Gunther or Brock or whoever the case may be. That's gonna be his big.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be like gonna get like that Rumble Final Four kind of spot.
Yeah. I could totally see him being in the title picture after WrestleMania next year.
Bro, like I said, I think I've been saying for a long time. I think a lot of people have really. I mean, Braun's been a star since he was in NXT. I mean, if you can't see that, I don't know what the hell you're watching, or you don't know what you're watching.
He's a prototype.
But
when he first came out, when the new whole NXT rebooted, and you seen him bouncing around in front of LA Knight and shit. So yeah, that's when I knew right then and there, like, yeah, this guy's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, that was like one of the few things they did right when they had that stupid ass rainbow colored fucking NXT. That was one of the few things they got right.
Yeah.
I just need for him to come out like maybe at WrestleMania with the chainmail Scott Steiner hood on or some shit like that. That has to happen at least.
Hey, I love the Steiner math promo though.
Yeah.
He can't escape that shit for nothing. So that's ingrained in him forever.
I mean, and he sounds like him too. That's
you ain't gonna escape
part.
that. You might as well just get it out the way and just do it once. You know?
I dare somebody to go question him on his math, though.
Yeah,
I dare you to go question his math.
Yeah,
I'll give you $1. I'll give you $1. I'll part with $1.
Once you hear that first famous line, they said all men are created equal. That's when you know you fucked up.
Again, I don't want that. I don't want to be on the other side of the train tracks from that dude.
But with that being said,
no, thank you.
Can we talk about?
I mean, yeah, we got a new U.S. champion. I think.
Finally.
Yes, completely agree. That's what I wanted to ask. Like, I mean, I think any of us that are watching, anybody that's been watching for a while, I mean, LA Knight's been hot ever since he came over here. I mean, we've been singing the praises of him on this show since he was in Impact and TNA and all those places, and I was so happy to see him get in WWE. I think it was definitely long overdue. I'm glad he won the title. And see, there you go. It's already in the comments. Yeah. But with that being said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match. First of all, shout out to Logan Paul with that fucking moonsault.
Bro.
And then you see the reel that he put out after that where he showed that he was like practicing it at his ring in Puerto Rico and shit?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyone that's got anything to say about that guy and his athleticism or anything, just shut up. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, by far. He's by far the best, I guess, celebrity person that came in wrestling by far.
Bad Bunny was dope too, but I mean, Logan Paul and his brother were
Logan's
athletes.
blowing past him at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's also had more appearances, but
that too. But
I'll say this much: he was wrestling like he was not trying to lose his job.
Yeah,
he was really wrestling his ass off. He was
wrestling like
he was like, man, I ain't trying to lose my job right now, dog. Like I know. I said, I ain't trying to lose my job right now, so let me just go ahead and just show my ass in this match, and that's what he did. Like he went off on that shit. He made LA look great.
To your point, though, bro, I feel like. I mean, honestly, dude, I feel like he's been like that. Like, that's been the biggest thing I think that's really been a surpriser, I guess, for me on that. It's just like, this dude, to Smitty's point, he's a natural. Dude, this guy has been good, like, from the jump. And I've got Ring the Bell, which, if you haven't gotten your shirt yet, you need to. I should have gotten one to Prasshole while I was in Cleveland. But we need... Well, motherfuckers, if they wanted shirts, I mean, if people wanted shirts, I was telling people I got shirts for people.
He like, yeah, motherfucker, where my shirt?
He says that. He was the first motherfucker knew they were coming out. Come on. And you ain't got no shirt. You're holding your hands up, ain't got no damn shirt. Okay.
Whose fault is that a shirt in my hand? Whose fault is
that? I said, motherfucker, they're on sale. And this guy did never say shit to me. So you see, he agrees. Yeah, I said, hey, they're on sale. Motherfuckers get a shirt. To be fair, I forgot to give Mega Ran his when we were in Cleveland. But yeah, if you want a shirt, we got those. Check them out. Millions.com. It's over there in the description. So, and stay tuned. There might be a new website where it might make it a little easier. But, yeah, man, trying to diversify out in this motherfucker. Trying to have a website 2.0. Stay tuned for that. But,
diversify your bonds.
I'm doing that right now. I'm about to pay off these credit cards. Shout out to grandma. But yeah, dude. With all that said, I'm really happy for LA Knight. I hope he gets a long run out of this. Like, I mean, I think it's undeniable the run that guy's had as far as popularity and all that stuff. I just hope that he gets a long run. I think for a long time, like wrestling fans that have really been paying attention and that watch everything, I think he's been like one of the underground heroes, low key, in a lot of ways. Like, I think a lot of people who actually watch wrestling have been saying for years, like, why is this guy not in WWE? Like,
yeah,
or like one of the big promotions. Like, even when he came back and was in NWA, I was like, how is this guy not
at the big show?
Right. I mean, he looks like $1 million.
Talking $1 million, like
that part. That's the thing. Let's be honest. Even though WWE, I think, has done a 360 in what they value. Like, I think they value somebody who can wrestle a lot more than maybe they did back in the day. But the fact that guy can talk, that guy's been able to talk a blue streak of shit for a long time.
It's the reason he's on the Slim Jim campaigns. not other people, because he can
Oh,
talk and sell them
dig it.
He can talk and sell them damn meat sticks.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just reading some things.
I'm not.
You got some breaking news over there? I love when this
breaking news. Come on.
Yeah, Wesley turned heel apparently. So,
okay.
Wes, you bastard! No.
Well, I guess I can stop watching NXT now because I was like 15 minutes behind watching it.
Oh, my bad, man. My bad.
Oh, dude, I wasn't even halfway through it, but the Rascals are no more. I'm pissed. I dug the Buzz Lightyear gear. What the fuck, man?
Like the match is literally starting now.
You know, and it's even funnier. Talk about that foreshadow. And Trey Miguel was just trying to sell those boots, and now he turned on him. See, that's why. But hey, man, that bastard. But now that we've gotten through that,
but now I'm curious, how the hell did he do this? Like, how the hell do you make Wesley heel? How is that gonna work?
I'm over here scrolling right now.
Turn him to the evil Keith Lee.
Hey, we got. Well, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. But you know what else I got to do? All hail, Queen Nia. Your new champion. Shout out to Nia Jax. We got to interview her at the Royal Rumble. Totally cool and almost clotheslined the fuck out of the rude ass dude who kept trying to walk through my interview. Fuck you. But she's officially the GOAT for that. But yeah, dude. I'm shout out to Rob again. Rob was calling it out, you know, with Nia winning. And dude, how many title changes we had when you really think about it? I mean, you had this one. You had
only
4, I believe.
Two. Because it was it 6 matches?
4.
The only ones that didn't.
You had the U.S. title.
So Brian,
it was 4. Smitty said it was 4.
Yeah, it was 4.
Cody kept his and Liv kept hers. That was it.
Yeah, and everybody else lost theirs.
Yeah.
And if you count what happened on SmackDown, technically 5 if you go over the whole weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the thing that got me so much, and we'll talk about that in the when we get to the main event with Jacob Fatu. Shout out to Big Oos, man. He's become one of the homies at this point, and then to see that shit, that one kind of kicked me in the nuts. But all right, let's talk about Queen Nia real quick. First of all, if you guys are new here, make sure you go back and check out our chat with Queen Nia. But with that being said, what have you guys thought about the run of Nia Jax since she's come back and then become Queen Nia and now has regained the championship over BBL Bailey?
Redemption tour.
Yeah.
This has been a redemption tour.
Big redemption tour. She's been working her ass off ever since she came back. Like she's been putting on good matches. Yeah. She didn't shook off that whole I'm unsafe to work with. Like that shit is gone. Like she's really been working her ass off in this shit, and you know she deserved it. She deserved this title reign. She deserves this shit. Like she really came back, put the work in. I don't have any complaints about it. I don't.
I mean, J-Bone, how are you feeling on this one?
I was gonna say the same thing. Like a year ago, we were talking about how she was unsafe to work with, and how she had all these miscues and mishaps in the ring, and we don't see that anymore. So redemption tour, like you said, man, and shout out to her for getting it together because she's definitely turned it around big time. I don't mind her as champion. I love seeing the heel like that. You know what I mean? I definitely thought there was going to be a cash in at SummerSlam. We was waiting for it, but
I think it's too soon.
So it is. I just the way they had it set up.
If you had Tiffany cash in, you were setting up. You were putting in that Roman situation.
Yeah,
where it's too much too fast. You were the Romaner, and that wouldn't.
Yeah.
Look, she knew she didn't want that smoke with Nia. Nia pretty much told her, I get my fair shot, and then, bitch, you do what you got to do. But I like the fact that Nia presented her with the new briefcase, too, because I was like, as soon as I saw Bailey smash that thing, I'm like, if anybody was ever going to have, like, the bedazzled fucking
I saw that. I was
money in I'm like, yo, they're missing a big chance at making some money if they don't come out with a Tiffy time briefcase.
I saw them. I was like, they coming with a Barbie.
Ken wasn't trying to hear that shit I was talking about. Like, no, they're coming with a briefcase. Like, they're coming with a briefcase.
Yeah, because like that's just money,
dude. It's just crazy.
It's about to be. I'm a parent. It's about to be back to school.
Yeah,
you get them things out here within the next couple of weeks. There are gonna be little kids going to school with pink money and make briefcases.
Oh, they're already on the site, dog. Come on now.
And it's got the little strap on it too, especially if you got the strap that she's got.
Yo, and I just want to say, We saw Nia and Tiffany after the match in the bar when we were out after the show was over, and she was carrying that bitch through the bar. She had it on there like a purse, walking through the bar with the money in the bank. She was ready, bro. She was ready.
It reminds me when we seen Damian Priest at the Ransom bar, and he had that Senior Money in the Bank briefcase with him and shit. Like,
hey, that purple briefcase was dope.
Yeah, that was fire.
I wish they would have sold. Wish you would have sold those, but I would have bought one.
They did, didn't they?
They did. I don't think they did.
I don't recall seeing them.
I swear I saw those.
I'm about to look. I don't think they did though.
Hurry up and get that bitch on discount. Hey man, I mess with Damian Priest. Like I said, bro. Like I've been a fan of his since he was. I've been a fan of his since he was Punishment Martinez. To see damn straight, and for him to come back up like that, dude, was fire. Nothing beats the Brock box.
The Brock box, classic.
The fact that he used it as a boom box. If only bump boxes were a thing when Brock had the briefcase. Oh my god! If he'd have come out with a bump box that had him on it doing the thing with the bump box, that would have been fucking legendary.
Now, the one I did like, I like Damian Sandow's briefcase that he had.
Shout out to past guests of the show, Aaron Stevens.
Yeah, he had that leather briefcase and shit. That was fire.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah.
For those of you guys who are new here, check that out and find out how big of a UFC fan he is. Big fan of Keith Hackney, taking it back to UFC 3 and shit. But
okay.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Deep dive and shit. But dude, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. I think all four of us can agree headed into this was like one of the biggest matches headed into this match. I think the story and the way they were able to hold the story, even with Punk being hurt for the majority of it, man, that shit was dope. And I didn't even realize it till after the fact, but and you watching it on TV, did you peep the Brett versus Taker with Sean as the referee references?
Yeah, we peeped that. We peeped that a mile away at the bar, man. We was just looking at that like, like you can just peep the Easter eggs of everything. Like even when he was about to hit Seth with the chair, and he stopped. You know, Seth was like, whoa. No, Seth was about to hit Punk with the chair or something like that. Like, whoa. You know, it like definitely had that Brett and Sean thing going on right now, and we can see how all that's been intertwined, and we can just really see like even on Monday, like we just see it right then and there. Seth and Shawn Michaels, CM Punk is Bret Hart, and I think those two are going to play into that shit too somehow, some way. I think we're going to see something.
Yeah, when they finally touch, it's going to be crazy.
And that's crazy. That's crazy to even think. Like it's been almost a year, they have not touched like brawled or anything, nothing. I love it. Keep it that way.
I mean, I love this being a wrestling fan, but part of me wonders like how much real beef is there? Like how much of it is like keep us the fuck apart until we're gonna have them have a match. But
I think there's a lot of ego there. There's a lot of ego there. Like this is my show, you know.
Well, I mean, if you're Seth, if you really think about it, I mean, Seth, you know, when he says things like, you know, over the last however many years, he's really put WWE on his back. And, you know, tried to be like the workhorse for WWE, even though we all made that joke about the World Heavyweight title when they first put it out. But, like, dude, I mean, you can't say, I mean, if you're looking at who's, like, put that work in as far as flying the WWE flag, I mean, on Twitter and everything else, Seth Rollins has really been.
But
that
not even
guy.
that. I mean, even the whole time when Punk was gone, Seth was throwing shots the entire time.
I remember that Twitter change they had.
He was throwing shots the entire time.
And Seth got in trouble for that shit. They were like, chill the fuck out, man.
And then when Punk came back, like I don't care what anybody says. That was Seth's honest reaction. That motherfucker was legit pissed.
Yeah, he was mad
when he heard that damn music.
He said that when he sat down on the steps, and just looked like a lost man. Like he was like. Fuck,
like when you saw how Jay looked, it was like turned his head. It was like, oh shit.
And of course, Randy
was so pissed.
And Randy, like everybody reacted.
Randy's waving and shit.
Yeah, like everybody reacted. They looked just like, yeah.
Right. I think there, like you said, and I think there is a lot of ego there, and I think there's a lot of animosity. And just like you said, Kyle, I really think Seth does believe what he says like that, and he has been the workhorse. He has been.
Yeah, he has been.
He made that new championship credible. He made it great. And then when Punk just goes back and forth and all the bad press that Punk has had, why shouldn't Seth be like, this is my house, dude. This is what I've been building. So he has every right to, and I think, but like you said, I think it's a big thing with egos, but I bet they know, and they're professionals. There's a big paycheck to be had there.
Oh man!
So I just wonder like how long they're gonna hold off them touching it. Like how far? Like
man, keep that shit to SummerSlam. They're gonna have a brawl. They're gonna have a brawl.
Well, I mean, Punk and Drew's got to be done. So is it Punk and Seth now?
No,
well, no, because
I don't think they're done.
No, because Drew still got that bracelet. As long as
Drew's got that
bracelet.
I forgot he took that at the end of that. So no,
he's chasing through the halls.
And then the fact that then the fact that Steph got squashed into the mat, that's got to be a thing for a while.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing for me. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I think we're gonna get Punk versus Drew in Hell in a Cell. I think that's happening.
I keep hearing that's the rumor.
Bad Blood pay-per-view.
Yeah, Bad Blood.
Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Punk Seth at Mania. I'll be in Vegas, so I'm all with it. Let's get it.
I'm there. I'm there.
We'll all be there.
I'm there.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to convince
I would take
on.
Punk and Drew in Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. I think that could even main event the whole show.
So I think that's probably going to happen in Hell in a Cell. But
so can we just sidebar this since you can't use the excuse of Lily's birthday anymore? So you're coming to Vegas, right?
What's the date?
420 weekend.
Oh Jesus! Look, all right. So
you don't even have an excuse this time.
I'm at a stage in life where I can attend a wrestling event without her anymore. There's just no way.
Okay, but I'm saying you can't say that the reason why you weren't going was because it was Lily's birthday anymore. So
is Mania?
I'll find another excuse, but in the meantime,
we had a good time in Vegas. If you guys are new here, make sure you check out our last Vegas
and
vlog.
It's Vegas. See, that's a trifecta of shenanigans.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah,
and we gotta go see Johnny at Nerd Bar again.
How many shenanigans can I get with a 10-year-old with me though?
It's a little shenanigans.
I can do.
Who says
we are walking around Vegas? We're not driving around Vegas, correct?
Right.
I mean, my part of the we wasn't trying to get a damn rental car for that.
No, I'm gonna make sure when I go, I'm gonna be on the strip. So I'll pay that extra money for that shit. I'll be on the strip. Fuck that.
Man,
WrestleMania in Vegas. What a time!
You can tell Lily next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we had a damn good time. We were in Vegas for Double or Nothing. Go back and check out the vlog.
Going up inside the Wynn Casino.
I can't even go to a freaking local show anymore without her. Like, I'm going with you.
That means you're doing parenting right.
That's right. Gotta start.
See, Vegas is family friendly these days.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm saying this some shenanigans. You can get shenanigans and be a dad at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There's ways to do both.
We'll make it happen. We're gonna make it happen.
Bro, we had a blast in Vegas last time. And
did.
I got shout out to DJ Danny Ocean. Make sure you check that motherfucker out on the radio and everywhere else. Check it in from New Bern and shit. That being said, dude, we were talking about Vegas. Danny, you bringing your ass to Vegas?
Let's go, man. We gotta do this up. Shout out to Johnny in the Nerd Bar. And yeah, dude,
you make me want to go to the Nerd Bar now. You make me want to go to the Nerd Bar now, man.
Johnny's the Nerd.
Dope,
my guy Johnny owns the Nerd Bar.
Shout out to the homie Megaran who was with
Sabu at Kyle.
Yes, and that's where the infamous Sabu story that I'll never tell on air happened. I'll never tell it on air. But see,
Vegas about to be lit. Let's get it,
man. And it's on 422. Shit, man. That's.
I will never tell the Sabu story, but those who know the Sabu story, it was pretty legendary.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that Jimmy Lloyd? Is that Jimmy Lloyd?
We'll tell that story again. But yeah, dude. Getting back to it, Danny. What did WrestleMania? Bro,
what the fuck I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
although I can't lie, the fact that it's on Easter is crazy to me.
But Ken has been telling me, he's like, you haven't seen shit yet.
Danny, I will gladly give the Sabu story off air, but I have a couple of Sabu stories, and they both kind of end the same way. But the fact that I'm the one that got noticed out of a conversation between Sabu, and then how said conversation ended, yeah. I did not try to steal the turban, though. I didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't try to steal his turban. That's not.
Somebody trying to steal his turban?
We're gonna have to make a whole other link, dude, for a Sabu story.
Just because I said No, I can't tell that one on air.
But we're gonna have to do it off the air with a whole nother.
Yeah,
everybody jump in.
I was about to say, like, come on, man.
Oh no. Well, Danny, once I tell you the story, you'll understand why I can't tell the story on air.
Stick around.
But let's get back to what
was really money in this, and I think anybody that's been watching wrestling for a while has been saying this for a while. In what I think might have been the best match of SummerSlam, we have a new champion, and I just so happened to get to ask him questions inside the Survivor Series press conference, which you can go back and watch on Peacock. But with that being said, we got a new champion in this bitch. Another one. The Ring General. Gunther. King Gunther gets him the World Heavyweight title. He takes it from Damian Priest, and we had another turncoat inside the Judgment Day. But before we get to the other turncoat, thoughts on our new champion, Gunther?
I didn't think he was going to win it right then and there. I thought he was going to say for Bash at Berlin, but now I see why they did.
Yeah, like me and Ant, we were talking about that on our first episode of Pirates of Destiny, like which way were they going to flip it? Because it was one of the two things that was happening. Either he was winning the bash as a champ, or he was winning it at bash. It was one of the two. Because it's clearly his time.
Yeah, like, it definitely was. It definitely was, because after what we got on Monday, I'm like, okay, makes sense now. But no, he deserves it. You know, but it's crazy because like over 70% of his career in WWE, he's been fucking champion.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Like, that is really insane. Like they did, like he's Hall of Fame bound already.
I mean, but at least to be fair, like, and I mean, we've all, again, to your point, Ken, we've all watched wrestling long enough to be able to like give a valid opinion on this. But like, when you think of guys that are like those, like the MVP type people, like the lifer people for WWE, when you think of like a Triple H who had championships most of the time, you know, you think about The Rock, you think about, I mean, insert name here, but like Seth Rollins, I feel like the younger generation might be one of those guys that, like, I mean, realistically, if you were going to have a guy that's always got a belt, I mean, we just talked about the way that Seth Rollins, you know, flies that flag for WWE. I mean, if there was ever a guy that I would want to have the title all the time, it'd be him. But, dude, I agree completely with what Smitty said. I mean, the way that guy's gotten himself in dog-ass shape, the way he almost knocks people's nipples off every match, and then this time Priest almost knocked his nipple off. I mean,
they laid into each other.
Man, you can tell they enjoyed that shit too. You can tell they enjoyed that shit.
Right, they was on some progress type shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like that match made me want to go watch Gunther versus Ilya 1 when they have the
Gunther versus our past guest of our show, PCO. Go run that bitch.
That was
or Walter, excuse me. But
Walter
and Gunther are distant cousins.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, man.
Pretty much.
No, like they were. Go ahead, bro. No, you go ahead. You sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, Gunther is one of those characters, as far as presentation wise, they've nailed it literally from day one, from when he popped up at the NXT Takeover to now. Like, they've nailed his presentation from day one, and it's been consistent. Nothing's really changed outside. I still don't like the new theme music. I like the original. That's just me. But outside of that, outside of that though, like his presentation has just been he came in the door as a feared heel.
He fucking should be. Look at the guy.
He came in the door as a final boss.
You know the crazy part was he came in as a face for a minute. He came in as a face for a second, and then they just like, man, fuck it, go all the way, turn him heel. He came, but like, he's a fucking villain. He's a James Bond villain.
Yeah,
that's exactly he is I know the Rock's the final boss, but he's like a video game final boss. Like it's like if you were building like a wrestling game like RPG, Gunther would be at the end.
Right. he's like Alec Trevelyan, man. He's a fucking 007 boss, man. For real.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you see what he did with the IC title, man. I mean, that's the longest reign in history.
Elevated the fuck out of that title.
I mean,
boosting him to the World Heavyweight Championship. He deserves it, man. He deserves all of that. I didn't think it was going to happen, though. I was with Ant. I didn't think it was going to happen on that night. I thought he was going to get that one in Berlin, but like I said, I see why now because
I see it now too. Like it makes sense for like his character presentation, it makes sense for him to come into Berlin as the champion.
Yeah.
And then have that and then having his first events against Randy at the crib. Come on.
Oh man.
That's big.
That's about to be a banger.
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that too. But, dude, here's the question. What are your thoughts on the turncoat Finn Balor? And do you think that takes away at all from Gunther's win?
Nah.
It don't take away from his win, but to me, Finn is a hater. Finn's a fucking hater, man. He's a hater.
Finn got his lick back.
I never got my run with the world title.
Finn got his lick back. Finn got his lick back. I'm seeing Finn on this.
He got it back from last year's
back.
SummerSlam.
Hey man, no.
And
your team Finn though, why?
Finn got his lick back a year ago. Damon did it to him.
Man, Finn the hater, bro.
When those songs comes around,
Finn the hater, bro.
And I feel like at this point, this is going to give them a good way to give us another Demon Finn run. So I feel like this is just like it did. Like it, I feel like it didn't affect it. It seemed like two separate things happened at once.
Mm-hmm.
You got Gunther the title that he was well deserved.
Looks good on him too, by the way. It looks great on him, by the way.
And then you got you made Priest that mega face now, and then you're giving Finn a real story again that he really hasn't have. I mean, he's just been doing tag team shit, yada yada yada. He hasn't been in the main story run in a minute, so that's well overdue. So you did a couple things all at one time.
I agree with that. And I also think he needs the title run. I also think he also needs the title run as well, but I don't see it happening for a little bit because it's a log jam of main eventers over there in Raw right now. Yeah. It's a log jam over.
Yeah, they gotta.
They're trying to make Raw the flagship before they go to Netflix again.
Right.
Oh, of course, of course.
You guys think that if Finn didn't put Gunther's foot on the rope, that it would affect Priest's babyface run right now? Do you think, like, by him, if Priest were to lose clean, would we be cheering for him like we did on Raw last night?
No, we wouldn't have.
No,
we wouldn't have.
No, it was all. That was all. It was like a key component.
It was all design. It was all design. It was all like
I say, you got the 24/7. He gets fucked over. He comes into a hot ass crowd in Baltimore that received him so well. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just, it was the key component.
And not to mention, let's not forget all the extra details, like as far as like Michael Cole continuing to move himself up into one of the goats of commentary, like the way that played out. What are you doing, Finn? Finn, what are you doing? Oh my God, you son of a bitch!
Yeah, the shit he cut on Dominic, nigga, like Dominic, you son of a bitch! Like he was going off. Pissed, man. I love it, dog.
Michael Cole is invested, dude.
Michael Cole, without Vince in his ear, has been one of the most underrated things of this new era.
No, Michael Cole with Pat McAfee has been one of the things.
No, my favorite Michael Cole was when Michael Cole was calling the NXT UK tournament with
Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel McGuinness, yes. He was fucking excellent. He was excellent.
Yeah, that was another time Vince wasn't in his ear.
Yeah, Vince wasn't in his ear. He was
Vince not being in his ear was all was wrong with him.
Yeah,
like there was no flaw. There was no flaws at all during that whole tournament. No flaws. I loved it. But to get back to it though, man, Priest got a brand new energy to him right now. Even with the promo he cut on Raw, and he said like, you know, I'm gonna let these shots go on you, JD, but I still got the clip ready for Finn. Like I'm gonna enter the clip.
I got a lot more in the clip. I like it.
I'm like, okay.
You think that's you think that goes to a Bad Blood match too?
Oh yeah,
got
Bad Blood
to.
match. Yes, yes.
I think that's gonna be. I think Bad Blood's gonna have the Demon versus.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You think he'd go back? My thing is though,
I don't know that he goes the Demon, bro.
No, like, if you paid attention in Raw when they were in the clubhouse, one of the things he had behind him was the Demon, and it wasn't in Judgment Day colors. It was red and black.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the background. I don't know. It was like some kind of box or something. I don't know what it was, like a box or something, but it was like his Demon thing. So I'm like,
yeah, it was. But you know, I will say this though: if we don't see the Demon then, we probably might see the Demon. Because I think this new Judgment Day is about to go against the White Six pretty soon too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna happen, and you probably gonna get Uncle Howdy versus the Demon. So it's like fucking.
And I think this is another thing too. Like one thing I've noticed about this new regime, it seems like Triple H is slowly but surely, if Vince fucked over something with your character, Triple H is slowly but surely spinning the block on that shit. Like, hey, I remember, I didn't forget.
He's going to give you a second chance. He's giving you a second chance.
About even Bronson Reed, now he's not being that monster ass heel. He's not doing that stupid ass stomp in the ring shaking. Like little shit. Like, it's been little shit that Vince fucked over with these characters. They slowly but surely have been getting it back. Mm-hmm. And we know the Demon character got fucked over.
Oh yeah.
It got fucked over. Vince fucked that up.
Hopping the floor and getting up and shit. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's another thing that's gonna get. That's another thing that's got to spin the block one good time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so spinning the block. Maybe Mike Santana's got to spin the block. But dude, since you brought up the Wyatt 6, bro, before we talk about the main event, I loved what we saw last night on Raw with the Wyatt 6, dude. See,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I loved that shit. I loved the match. I thought it was dope. And then, like, the thing that, like, stuck out to me that was interesting, I mean, I noticed, like, the little subtleties in the videos, but, like, the way they were pointing out on commentary, like, Joe Gacy is supposed to be Huskus the Pig.
Yeah.
And Dexter Lumis is supposed to be Mercy the Buzzard. Like, I liked all the, like, little nuances of it, but, man, they got in the ring and could fucking go. Now, I've known about Joe Gacy from a long time ago from Evolve in his days back in the group with Eddie Kingston and all them.
Gacy's the problem.
The damn headstand thing he hit in the corner, dude. Like, I mean, that guy doing that stuff being that big, bro.
Man. And then the vibe of, like, Howdy just sitting there in a chair like Bray used to, and then Nikki Cross is just chilling there at his feet. Like, bro, it's fire. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to get Alexa Bliss involved in this, but I've liked what we've seen from the Wyatt 6 so far, and I think them doing the match the way they did on Raw last night, I think is the best way to do it, so that we know that they're not all sci-fi to where, like, they are vulnerable in a ring. And I was really happy for Eric Rowan, too. Eric Rowan looked badass in there.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, him being there with Dexter and Gacy, that, I'm not gonna say protects him, but you got two people that can go out there and do the banger work, and then he comes in and just does the monster work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but for a big man, he was always good. Might have been off TV for a while, but
I love his finisher. I love his finisher.
But like, so you let the kids do the heavy lifting.
I like that he's doing something a little bit different too, Smitty, but we had to see if he broke off the engagement to Indy Hartwell. But
Gacy, that was Gacy. He looked incredible. That was like, I wouldn't say star-making night for Gacy, but it got people paying attention to him.
Put people on notice.
If you wasn't hip to him, you walked away like, oh, okay.
He got that. He got that Mick Foley vibe right now. He like a very, very.
That was his main roster debut match, right?
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
So,
you're
hey,
right.
That's a big thing. That's a big deal for him. So good for him, man.
All right, we got one thing left to talk about on the SummerSlam card. We've got the main event: Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline Rules match. We had the return of the original Tribal Chief, if you want to know what OTC stand for. But with that being said, what were your guys' thoughts on the main event, Cody versus Solo? Who we saw come in there? Did you think there needed to be some other people involved? What did you think of this match? And Ken, I'll let y'all go first. Ken, what you got?
Even before the people popping up happened, it was a solid ass match. Like, for Solo to have his first main event, it was a good match. Like, him and Cody was flowing. Far as the surprises, it was amazing. Jacob sold the hell out of that fucking leg. Like, he's walking around with a boot, but it looked way worse than it seemed like it was. So he really sold it. And I'm just like loving Jacob's presentation. That's another person. His presentation has been flawless since day one. But then, like I said, you got the original Tribal Chief coming back, throw them ones up. You know what I'm saying? That pop was crazy. I don't know how I came across on TV, but it was loud in the stadium.
The song was dope, Ken. It didn't skip at the end, Ken. They got a new CD. Stop hating.
They got a new CD.
I'm sure it'll grow on me.
This one don't got no scratches on it.
What about
they
you?
used the disc doctor on it before they gave him the new one.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like when I hear Bloodlines rules match, I hear like just all theatrics. So it's like cool. I'm glad they about to kind of go away from that for a little bit. They probably gonna bring it back maybe at Royal Rumble or some shit like that because we got to get the eventful Solo versus Roman Reigns match. That has to happen. But other than that, man, it was a good match. It was a really good match. I like I said, Jacob is just a fucking monster. Like there's no way about that. And I like that they had Roman come out, they didn't have Jimmy come out, and they saved Heyman. I see what J-Bone is saying, like they should have Heyman out there or something like that. But Heyman got to sell those injuries. He's a 58-year-old man who took.
I think you saved that for SmackDown.
Yeah, he took a bump on the table or some shit, but. No, you just bring Roman out there, man. Have Roman get that look to Cody, like nigga, like yeah, bro. I still want my title back, man. I ain't forget about
don't think shit's sweet.
I gotta handle this. I gotta handle this shit first, man. I got my pup done got on the line. So
but I like the nod to him too, though. Like, yeah, you beat me at WrestleMania. You got your win back. I ain't forgot.
Like the respect thing of it. Like, you got me.
Yeah, but I can tell you right now, Cody looking like, like nah, bro. And I can kind of see this kind of parlay into a Cody heel turn maybe too. Like we might get that Homelander Cody that we all been looking for.
Oh, I don't think that's gonna happen for a while though, dude. Because the kids love Cody.
Yeah, they love Cody, so it's gonna be a while, man.
I don't want to see Cody get turned into like the John Cena style face where you can't turn him heel. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it.
I don't think that'll happen with Cody.
I don't think it needs to happen now or anytime soon. But I don't want it to be to where it's like impossible. Because it was damn near impossible to turn. It wasn't.
Oh, that's 100% fact. I mean, I think that.
It already happened.
Oh yeah, that comment was on point. That comment was on point.
Yeah.
Shout out to Smitty. You're not wrong, bro. We've been talking about that for a while. Jacob Fatu is the star. And go back and watch the old episodes, bro. I've been singing this guy's praises for like 5 years. And after getting to meet
on the mic yet, that's the killer.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what's crazy. People don't realize dude can talk that shit. Like, watch the stuff from MLW, especially once he split from Contra, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of Contra, shout out to past guests of the show, Janai Kai, your MLW Women's Champion, joining Contra. Don't get your head kicked off. But, bro, I mean, Jacob Fatu's a star. I'm just praying that the leg isn't too bad. Overall, obviously, I think Cody needed to win. I think that we don't go right to Roman versus Cody. I think Roman's going to handle his business in the bloodline first. But I like that they're like we've talked about. I mean, that's really one of the themes, not just of this show, but like WWE as a whole. Is I love the fact that we just get into the fact where there's like so many cliffhangers to where you can go so many different ways. It's not predictable to the point where you're like, well, it's got to be this way. And that's how it's gonna go. So, I mean, all in all, I like the Roman's back. I like that Cody won. I think eventually we get a Cody heel turn, but bro, the kids love him too much. Right?
Yeah, they do love him. But we got to give credit to Tama Tonga. I got to give credit to him because once he showed up in WWE, he's been a great hand. He's been a great hand. Like, I got to give a shout out to him and Tonga Loa too. Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, that's another one. You guys said
I'm a dog walk his ass. That's the first thing you do. Cody Rhodes. I'm a dog walk him.
Gang signs, all that shit. Yeah,
that might be what they're waiting on, low key. Like, you know what? We don't really trust you to live mic yet.
They might want to wait on that one, man.
Like just stick to the praying hands and stand in the back.
Right.
I acknowledge you, my tribal chief.
Just do it right now. But no, Tonga Loa, man. I gotta shout out Tonga Loa too, man. Tonga Loa, he's been getting a lot of slack, but he's been fucking hilarious, man. Even with the eye patch and shit. Like, bro, like looking like Dr. Evil's henchman and shit like that, man. Come on.
Now I've seen somebody post on Instagram that Zilla Fatu was actually there, right?
He was, yeah. A couple of the homies. Like I linked up with Zilla after the show at the hotel. He was there.
The other guy, was it Hikuleo?
He was there too.
Was he there?
I didn't see him there, but I keep hearing he signed. But like
signed, right? So,
I mean, J-Bone, remember, we got to interview King Haku.
Shout out to the man himself.
Covering Unbreakable Bunch. He asked me to take a certain part of that interview out, maybe because he knew a little bit more than we did.
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk too much about Tama because at the time I got to interview him, which you guys can go check out. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, we got to talk with him like the week after Tama debuted here in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And, he said that he had thought that there was going to be more of his sons coming. And now it's like Bullet Club is coming to take over this motherfucker. But that's the story.
Man. The only one mentioned is Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
That'd be another motherfucker you had to wait for Netflix to happen.
Definitely that.
Definitely
that. And I need him with his underboss gimmick because I just need this shit talker.
You guys think we're headed to the War Games thing with the Bloodline versus?
That's definitely gotta be.
That's gotta be Bloodline.
The only question would be who, right? Who on what side and where?
Well, you got the new Bloodline on the one side. You got Hikuleo, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Solo. And then you got Fatu if he's able to do it.
Yeah.
And then because like I said, from what I heard, he's in a walking boot. If he's in a walking boot, let's just hope that it's a big sprain. But then what's interesting is then what ends up being the other side of that. Like now we keep seeing. Well, you keep seeing.
Sammy.
I was gonna say Sammy's kind of got to be involved in that. I feel like because like they keep hitting around at him and Jay messing around. And Jimmy's still got to come back. I wonder maybe if that was the spot that was happening when all that happened with Jacob, but only time will tell, dude. But who does Cody go after this?
That's my question. Like, who's next to feud with Cody?
That is interesting.
At this point, we're officially into Bloodline turmoil, so they're out of the picture for a little while.
Yeah.
So, who's on SmackDown that makes sense?
I don't know who's available, but something I do want to see, and I don't even know if it's on the table right now, would be Cody versus Kevin Owens. And that's only because Kevin's done such a good job at holding his place in this Bloodline thing.
Kevin's about due for a heel turn. Like
Kevin's not a good friend. Let's remember. Just ask Sami Zayn.
Not a good friend, and we know he's a great heel, and he's been really sticking it out with getting beat up by the Bloodline. And what better spot for him to turn around and say, "Look, dude, I've had your back this whole time. Like I want my shot."
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what? And I can see that. I don't know if Cody gonna have a match at Bash at Berlin, but it'll be a match.
And the backstory of like Kevin and Cody when he was on the Indies and all that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of meat on that bone, and I like the fact that now with Triple H, at the helm of things, I think that there's a lot more likelihood that they'll play a little bit into that story.
Yeah, SmackDown gonna definitely need some top tier heels. Like, so I wouldn't mind like turning KO heel because they need that.
Actually, it's kind of lopsided on Raw, right? Yeah, really. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think they're trying to,
especially with the Bloodline being tied up with all this stuff. You're taking away the majority of the heels right there.
Exactly.
Into that one story.
It kind of makes a turn over
there. You're not wrong. Speaking of the man himself, before we get into our closing thoughts and all that, shout out to the other sponsor of this show, Potter's Tree Service.
If you need tree trimming, if you need storm damage cleanup, if you need lot clearing, if you need anything to do with a tree, and now he'll even cut your lawn. You ain't got to look out for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You don't need a 2x4. Just hit up Potter's Tree Service. Tell him Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you, and I promise you, there ain't going to be no weeds, and there ain't going to be no weeds growing out of your 2x4. Come on, man. Hit up Potter's Tree Service. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. Asa, I need to see you at the Masonic Temple this Friday. Somebody's going to get knocked the fuck out, bro. You got to come watch it.
You got me ready to come.
Come on. See?
You are a fucking salesman. I love it, dog.
I'm just trying to tell people, and I'm just the one calling the fight. So if you want to see somebody get knocked the fuck out, come watch Mitten Muay Thai this Friday. Ken, you just said you were coming. Get you a ticket. Bring your ass down to the Yes.
Yeah, you might have sold me right there. Muay Thai fighting, yeah.
There you go. See, man, I'm on commentary for this one. Make sure you check it out. Masonic Temple. I'm really looking forward to doing commentary in that building. But somebody's going to get knocked the fuck out. Shout out to last week's guest, Brian Glidden, stepping back into the ring against Josiah Pila, the number 1 ranked Muay Thai fighter. I'm digging these fights, and I feel like somebody might get their shit split. But as long as it's not mine, we're okay. I've already done that. See, that's why I got a scar on my nose. But with that being said, we've covered SummerSlam. It was a great time, dude. I'm looking forward to being there. Shout out to my guy Megaran and Marcos. Shout out being in the press conference. Shout out to my guys, the Whip Show, Najee and Whip in there. I'll be back soon, motherfuckers. Shout out to Body Slam. Shout out to the Queen of the Ring, Alex Leas. I heard you in there, Malcolm Muscle. I heard you in there. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to being back and in the building and taking care of that. There will be no Sabu stories, but like I said, this Friday, make sure you're checking it out, Mitten Muay Thai at the Masonic Temple. And then tomorrow night, me and J-Bone got to get down with past guests of the show. 5 Finger Death Punch is back in the D, back in the Mitten. We will be backstage linking up with the homie Chris Cale. If you guys are new here, make sure you check out that episode. Listen to him talking about plane flights with the late Chester Bennington of Lincoln Park and all kinds of stuff like that, man. We get down. Shout out to the homie. My beard will never be long enough to be braided like that, but respect to the big homie Chris Cale. Because I don't want him to break me in half. Dude is Jack. Don't take the base for granted. And shout out to the studio decor. That bitch is still up on the wall. Appreciate you over there, big homie. But yeah, dude, I am ready to get down. J-Bone, how you feeling about 5 Finger, bro? 5 Finger and the original theme song of Friday or of SmackDown. Marilyn Manson is doing this show.
I forgot Manson was going to be there. Holy shit. That's going to be rough.
Oh, that's going to be really rough. Crazy.
I just watched the Wesley heel turn, though. That was pretty wild, too.
J-Bone is in his feelings about it. It's like Sabu saw Jimmy Lloyd. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm pumped for tomorrow, dude. It's going to be a late night. Last year, we had a good time with those guys. It's always fun to hang out with those guys, especially at the best amphitheater in the fucking country, Pine Knob Music Theater.
Fuck yeah! Shout out to Pine Knob.
It just don't matter.
So am I. What? Wait a minute. What? Smitty, are you telling me you're going to 5 Finger? Is that what you're telling me in these comments?
Let's hope so, man.
Hold on a minute. Is that what you're telling me in these comments? If you're telling me in these comments that you're going to 5 Finger Death Punch, the party just got even bigger. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Shout out to our sponsors, Mitten Muay Thai. Shout out to Potter's Tree Service. Asa, you got to come out to a concert with us. Smitty, you as well. But before we get out of here, the floor is yours. Let them know more about Potters of Destiny. Let them know what they got coming, where they can find you guys, and anything you guys got on tap.
All right. You can follow us on Instagram at Potters of Destiny. You can follow us on Twitter at Potters of Destiny. Facebook page, Potters of Destiny as well. What we got coming up this week? Me and Ken are putting together like a Detroit roundtable. We're gonna talk about wrestling.
Somebody that's in that other window next to my window.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
He might be there.
Yeah. Oh, me?
Yeah,
that guy in that window.
I don't know. J-Bone, you coming?
What are we talking about here?
Oh no, we're doing our second episode.
Secret Illuminati meetings.
Yeah, pretty much it's gonna be a Detroit roundtable. Like all that. Wrestling and everything. We gonna
Knights of the Round Table. Nobody tells her you don't leave the table.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna do that. I got some interviews coming up. Shout out to J5. Shout out to Mills, the A Show. We got an interview with them coming up. Shout out to my boy Bates LaRock of West Coast Pro. We got an interview with him coming up real soon. Trying to get Chris Hero for the show, which is a possibility.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, we got Alpha Zoe coming up, and we got Starboy Charlie as well. So we trying to. Get...
I like Starboy Charlie. I love the match with. I like the match with him and Marco Stunt. Starboy Charlie, if you hear this, you're more than welcome on Knockouts and 3 Counts. But
I can set that up for y'all.
I mean, DMs are a good thing in 2024, even for Liv Morgan. But in the meantime and in between time. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to Sabu. Shout out to Jimmy Lloyd. Until next time and in the in-between time, make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button so you don't miss any of the action. And make sure, again, if you're in Detroit,
you know, if you watch this show, you like seeing somebody get knocked the fuck out. Come check out Mitten Muay Thai this Friday. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. Make sure you tell them that when you buy their ticket as well. Tell them that they need to get us a promo code. Until next time and in the in-between time, hit that button. Peace.
Yes,
somebody hit a tornado kick. I want to see somebody get $1,000. Peace.